If you ask most people which hardware synthesizer they would associate with trance music, the top answer would probably be the legendary Roland JP-8000 or JP8080, followed closely by the Axis Virus, which is exactly what I saw when I asked my audience to vote. This is my Roland JP-8080, a desktop or rack-mountable module version of the legendary Roland JP-8000, and it sounds like this. I picked it up secondhand a few years ago from Spain. It came in its original box with the manual and rack ears and had apparently been in storage for 20 years, which I tend to believe as it looks almost new without a scratch on it. The synth is seeing a resurgence currently as there are now many emulations, including Arturia's JP8000V, Adam Szarbo's Airwave, and the upcoming JP8086 from the usual suspects. The JP8000 was developed during the mid to late 90s and released in 1997, a period when virtual analog synthesizers were emerging and attempting to digitally emulate the warmth and character of vintage analog synths, such as Roland's own Jupiter series, which the JP name recalled. The Roland JP-8080 was released in 1998 and added more polyphony, 10 notes versus 8 on the JP-8000, 2 external audio inputs, a true vocoder, a 12-band filter bank, voice morph, unison mode, a distortion effect, and an additional noise waveform on oscillator 2, plus smart media card storage, of which the JP-8000 lacks. One of the key selling points was departure from the heavy menu diving and return to a very intuitive hands-on user interface with numerous knobs and faders for real-time sound shaping, much like the Jupiter synths. The most significant innovation, which has become synonymous with trance, was the introduction of the Supersaw oscillator, a unique DSP algorithm that stacks 7 detuned sawtooth waves to create an incredibly thick, rich sound. This sound was instantly adopted by producers and became a core element of trance, house and techno and other electronic dance music genres. You can hear its Supersaw sound all over the classic trance records from that era, including tracks from Ferry Corsten, Armin van Buuren, Paul van Dyk, Rank 1 and the Thrill Seekers. It was also used by other artists, including BT, Scooter, The Prodigy, Orbital, Faithless, Pet Shop Boys, Vince Clarke, and Gary Newman. Darude Sandstorm even used one of the factory presets from JP8080, of which the track was named after. It was always a dream of mine to finally own this legendary trance synth. There was something somewhat nostalgic about owning the original equipment that helped shape that classic trance sound of the golden years, and tried to get my hands on the instrument that pioneered the first Supersaw. If you want to level up your sound design skills, or you struggle to get your track sounding professional and need assistance, then check the links in the description for my one-to-one coaching services. Also, if you want the best premium hardware synth presets for trance and melodic techno, check out atomicasounds.com. So let's look at recreating that Superstring sound on the JP8080. It's actually quite a simple sound. I'm just going to use one oscillator, and of course we've selected the Supersaw. Let's just start the MIDI rolling. Okay, control 1 is essentially a detune. That's going to be 12 o'clock. Turn up control 2 to maximum. That's your mix control. On the tone control, we're going to put the bass to almost maximum. Treble to 3 o'clock. And same again for the multi-effect I'm using chorus. Okay, for the filter envelope, that's just set to 0. On the filter envelope, I guess one of the difficulties of the Roland JP-80 is finding the sweet spots. The envelope isn't the snappiest, and often you can get clicks if the attack or the release is not set to just 1 or 2. If you set it to 0, you tend to get a huge amount of clicks. So as you can see here, I've set the filter envelope with a tiny bit of attack. Decay's around 4. Maximum sustain, maximum release. And then on the amp envelope, attack set to 2, decay set to just over half. Same again for sustain, and a release again to stop that click. I've got it set to 2. Okay, let's jump into Ableton now. So let's look at the processing. I'm just using a drum bus. So that's essentially a saturator, a transient designer, and a compressor all in one. I've just got the comp on and the drive set to soft. Then I'm also using Ozone Imager, and that's just to give it some stereo width. And I've set that to halfway. Okay, the real trick here though is the reverb. So I'm using return. On that same return, I've got Valhalla Vintage Verb. Set that 100% on the mix. As you can see, I've got a pre-delay 54 milliseconds and decay 8 seconds. Got to give that huge trance reverb. Straight after that, I'm using a saturator. Again, that just gives extra harmonics to reverb, makes it even bigger. And then the real trick is straight after that, I'm using a sidechain compressor, and I'm sidechaining it with the JP8080 sound itself. The reason for that is basically I'm ducking the reverb when the actual dry sound of a JP8080 pushes through, and then as soon as the note's finished, then the reverb will then raise up and sound huge. It's almost like a pumping effect. Okay, so let's bring that reverb in. You can see the finished product. If you enjoy this content, then please like and subscribe, as it really helps my channel grow. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.